listed and Tamika was listed. Excuse me, but she said the people who would take the longest is Tim and her. So the judge asked her how much longer do she think she have. She said about 30 to 45 more minutes with Tim. And I'm just like, who is it Monday? That's Tim's sister. I'm just like, yeah. Her talking to Tim is a waste of time. It's a waste of time, y'all. Bobby says she's flying back. Are you staying? Just stay here, daughter. Yeah, she drove here, paying her PayPal. She drove here. Let me see how I can fix it. Y'all, I got to listen. I'm finna tell y'all. I'm gonna be on here for a minute, you guys. I promise you. I'm gonna be on here for about, I'm gonna try to be on here for about 2 to 3 hours, and then I'm gonna actually get ready for bed. Let me see how I can do it. What's your name? It's not allowing you guys to send anything on there. Thank you, love. If I put up my PayPal, I'm gonna hold my hand. All right, let's get started. Moderators, please. Thank you, guys. Turn off the comments for right now. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, never mind. Somebody say Western Union. No. Hey, friend, you meant to come up here.
No, I did come up here to tell you every time I text you something, nobody's saying nothing back to me. I'm talking to you. I done sent you a
Uh-huh.
100 message.
For real. Oh, somebody in the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't even, girl, it's going like this. Like,
Well,
if
when
it's
you
like,
get
if
off,
you put a comment, it's just throwing it. I can't see nobody. That's why I told them cut the comments because it just got overwhelming. I see it
well,
for a
when you
minute
get
and then
off,
I try to go back. Hmm?
check your inbox.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I will. All right. Um, Bring tea up here. Y'all, I am overstimulated. I'm not finna lie to y'all. I feel like I got anxiety or something. It's crazy. But let's
Hey,
jump into it. Hey T, how you doing, baby?
good. I was about to tell you that I'm gonna message you. Just make sure
Okay.
you check out for my message. I'm gonna let you
Okay.
know.
All right.
All right, bye. I'm gonna be right here.
Okay. All right, y'all. So today we started off with Akira's attorney. That's the first thing. So we did Akira's attorney. After Akira, we did Devon, and then after Devon was Tim. Um, and we still on Tim. We halfway through Tim, but basically Akira lawyer came on. She says she's been working with Akira for about a year. From March 29th of 2024 up until present day. Akira was depressed with diagnosed with major depression disorder. Um, Also, she was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. Um, they worked on exploration of coping, exploration of patterns, exploration of emotions, relationship patterns, self, CBT, person-centered mindfulness, and motivation interviewing. She had been experiencing panic and anxiety-like symptoms. Um, they started using exposure therapy for her as well because of the many places that Akira, Tim, Devon, and Brenay would be. When she would go to those places, it was just like immediate triggers for her where she'll start feeling, having panic attacks, anxiety attacks. And so exposure therapy is like you have to expose the person to the very thing that caused them to have like panics and anxiety. And so her mom is one of the person who she has to be with, and it's just basically to ease her back into those different environments. And they did quite a lot together. So it was just like places had just been very traumatizing for her. If y'all never experienced that, that's something you don't want to ever experience. If you ever had a situation where, like somebody passed away and a certain spot just reminds you all the time, then that's what that's like. But for her, it's like everywhere. Akira lost her job due to communicating threat charge that she received. She stated that she was in an accident. Brenay, Tim, his mom, and his sister, God sister, came to the hospital with the children. To see about them, but Tim proceeded to take the kids. Y'all remember when Brenay was like, "Oh, she don't allow him to do things for the kids." I think today we got a little insight on what she was talking about, but it didn't make sense. So there were times, I guess, before the child protective order, the custody order was actually like put in place, she wouldn't give, I guess, Tim the kids because of the constant posting. She didn't want them to be around Brenay. She expressed that to Tim that she did not want the kids to be around Brenay. She did not feel safe. She did not feel the kids were safe when they were around her. She stated that if you don't like me, you don't like my kids. She stated it out of her own mouth. Like, it was just the stuff that a lot of people were saying. So she was going through these therapy sessions. A lot of times she had setbacks because of stuff that had happened. A lot of stuff that happened. Like, she will be making some progress, but due to the situation with Tim and Brenay, due to the car accident, due to Brenay not abiding by the cease and desist letters that they had sent, and it was just a lot. So when she communicated the threat, the police was called, of course. They was like, Akira charged at, Tim said Akira was charging at Brenay. and that's why the mama put Akira in a headlock. I don't understand why nobody told Brenay to go back to the car and sit this one out. I never understand that. Akira talked about not having support from Tim's side of the family. You know, when she was the one that was married to him, and also she's the one that had children with him. And like, the proof is in the pudding. They over there, Tim mama and Brenay mama sitting together. It's like they have formed this union and are actually against Akira as if she's like such this horrible bad person. So she would have like setbacks because of, you know, certain stuff. But they talk about the kids calling Brenay mommy. So on August the 4th, 2025, the kids, she had a session, and she was saying that they were forcing the kids, Tim and Brenay were forcing the kids to call Brenay mommy. And she was like, she felt feelings of guilt, frustration, and a level of distress that can lead to self-destructing thoughts. Now, that's what her therapist put in her note, that situations like this will cause a person to literally self-destruct. So Brenay started to cross-examine the therapist, and she tried to make it seem like, oh, that's just like, this is just all in Akira's head, that a lot of this is about Tim, her, talking about Brenay, and the children. And we was looking so confused, because we were like, well, what else would this be about? Like, you and Tim are the one who caused so much pain and hurt, and this is why she feels the way that she feels, and this is why, you know, she's even in this position where she needs a therapist, because of what you guys did to her and what you continue to do to her, you know, and with her children. So things like that will set her back. On August the 18th, she came back for another session, and it was the challenges of co-parenting. And they talked about how Akira's daughter had her hair done when she went to Tim, and of course Tim was over there with Brenay. So they took her braids out of her head. So I think that picture where you guys, I don't know if that's the same picture where Akira had did like this post. I don't know. And it was showing the baby, I guess the baby's hair, but they took the baby's braid out of her hair. And it's like, if I send my child somewhere and her hair is done, that means her hair is done for a reason, so you don't have to put your hands in her hair. And so Akira said to her therapist that was mean. So Mr. Charles Hands asked the therapist, like, well, what do you mean? You know, and she was like, the therapist identified Brenay as Tim's mistress, that, you know, the mistress was causing some of these issues and problems instead of just allowing Tim to co-parent with, you know, his wife, because they weren't even divorced at this time. And so they talked about how Akira started to become impaired. Like, her anxiety and depression was like so bad, where she wasn't able to like function normally like a normal person. So that's what you call a dysfunctioning depressed person. You have some people who are highly functioning depressed people. They go on, they laugh, they smile. You'll never know until like they take their you know what I'm saying, LIFE. But she described how Akira looked when she first started coming to her. She said Akira had No, she didn't say that. The mom said it. I talk about how the mom described her. She said that Akira had her hair was black. It was like in a messy bun. She wore these big, large, oversized tops with leggings and flops. She even with that, she looked it kept, but you can clearly see she was just a depressed person. How she looked today, she say she looks way better than she did when she first, started working with her. Akira mama talked about how Akira lost a lot of weight. And of course we see that, you know what I'm saying? We most definitely saw the amount of weight she lost, how she would not eat. She would be in the room, she would isolate, always crying. She stated how the daughter, her baby, would just, sense that something is wrong. And how, y'all, that was emotional for me because I went through that with my baby. So like I can relate to that so well. Oh God. I can relate to that so well because children do pick up on your energy. And I've always said that, ain't no way that them kids don't know what's going on with their mom. Like, even if they can't articulate, they know, they feel what she feels. And she was like, the baby will crawl up in Akira's lap and ask her, if she's okay. And the mama say immediately, the tears would just be falling. The therapist is encourage Akira to stay off social media, so that she will be able to get through. And Brenay asked the therapist, "Well, did she listen to you? Did she stay off social media like you asked her to?" The therapist said she did. She did. Y'all, we didn't see her. Then we saw her for a little bit. Then we didn't see her at all. So I think she had got to a point where she was just literally trying, to cope the best way she could. And then we saw her leave. So, Brenay gonna ask the lady, "Well, are you the one who diagnosed her?" I said, "Baby, do you just not see that woman's title? She's a licensed clinical social worker." That's what I'm going for. That's my goal for next year, is that I work on my LCSW. I said, I'm just sitting there. I'm just saying stuff to Barbie and Caramel because I'm just like, I know this my area right here. I'm like, yeah, we use the DSM-5 to diagnose. And if anybody don't know, for major depression, like, you have to have 6 months. It's like persistent for 6 months or more of symptoms. And not feeling like you lose interest in wanting to do things like your daily activity, hobbies and stuff like that. That sadness and just them symptoms. But the main key is the time. So that's what makes it major. You know what I'm saying? You have like your depression, but you have major depression is when it persists for more than 6 months or more. So she asked her, asking her, did somebody, like, did she give her the diagnosis or did somebody else? And so the lady had to tell her that we are led and guided by this book, which is the DSM-5 book. And LCSWs are, even though I did it at the hospital, the doctors will come back and confirm it, or I'll use their previous ELF code. So it was she really didn't even have to cross examine her, but I guess she was just trying to make it be something. So she was going on and on, and she asked the therapist, "Well, with these type of diagnoses," and she said, "Well, what I see here in these files, don't you think that this is more about her former husband, me, and her children?" I'm like, y'all, this is why this is this. I'm just like, Brenay, what's not clicking up here? Like, what's not clicking up here? She's in this position because mentally you all are affecting her. Mentally, she can't be what she needs to be to her children. You know what I'm saying? Be whole to her children because of the stuff that you do. So then when they talked about so then she gonna ask the therapist about the hospital thing. She gonna say, I don't know, because I wasn't there. So then she said, did you know the police? She said, I don't know, because I wasn't there. And so I'm sorry, when I say she answered that girl so good, so she was like, well, did you know? Well, it read and said that Akira was feeling like she don't know what she would do if she encountered her partner, no, her husband's partner. And so the therapist came back and said, well, if a person is antagonizing you, and I'm speaking for myself, if I'm being antagonized, if you being antagonized, and if she being antagonized, of course you're already in a mode of I gotta do whatever I gotta do to defend myself. You know what I'm saying? At all times. So she was basically saying that Akira wasn't saying like, oh, she won't hurt her, she just gonna go out and hurt her. So Mr. Charles did a redirect to that question with the therapist, and she was like, he was basically was showing that if she wanted to do something in that moment to Brenay, she would have done something to Brenay. Like, duh. Like, if she really, really wanted to do something, and like Akira say, like, I don't like conflict, but when it comes to my kids, it's war. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's war. So, she was like, no further questions. Y'all. So after that, she said the therapist said if someone is antagonizing you, any individual will take all measures to protect themselves. That's how she put it. So then Devon came up. Y'all, I got to reenact this because I just want y'all to like understand. I got 14,000 people in here. 14,000. Can I get one person to send me a super live gift? Just one. I need not one person, but I just need all of y'all to send me a super live gift. That's the super live. It's right there. Just send me one. I'm finna tell y'all. So they called Devon. Devon get up. I just need everybody to send me a super live. Help me fill it. 15. Look at 15,000 people. Devon comes up. I'm finna do it both ways. I got to show y'all. This is why I got super live, because it's a super live. And I'm finna be here for about 3 hours. So y'all please just go ahead and fill my gift. My gift goes. So this is Devon comes up. Baby, when I tell y'all they can't mess with Devon no more. I don't know who they thought Devon was. But Devon is not the same person that he was when they did what they was doing. He ain't the same person. So Devon gets up. Devon like this. I'm talking about when I say Devon locked eyes with Tim. When I say Devon locked eyes with Tim and he wasn't smirking, Devon was just like, he got up and he was just like, whatever. He on whatever time that they on. Right hand to God. He was like, on whatever time that they was on. So Devon is like this. He walking, confident. I mean, his stance and everything was just like, you can tell that he wasn't like, he ain't playing. Here go Tim. Because it's Tim who doing the little slick stuff. He up there looking at him like this. That's how Tim looking. So Devon takes a stand and he's smiling. And he's smiling. He identified Akira as his cousin's ex-wife. He described Tim and Akira marriage as a loving family, as loving, and they was very family oriented. He said as a couple they would go on dates. He would go on dates with Tim, Akira. They would do like arcades, dinner dates and stuff like that. They would go to each other's house, chill. Ooh, thank you, thank you. They would just do a whole, just do stuff together. He said they spent Christmas week with the Montagues. With Montague. Got to get that right. So this is where we're going to break it down. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to try not to stumble. And I'm going to try to make sure that I'm reading it and giving y'all it. So please just be patient with me, because it's a lot. Inside of this, I'm gonna be back and forth with like messages, direct messages between him and Akira, and then also I'm gonna be trying to fill in a lot of the gaps as it relates to questions that we may have had. So Christmas pretty much happened the way that he said it in that video, but however, we had a little bit more insight. So he was like, prior to Christmas, him and Brenay really ain't had no, he would say, no issues. The whole thing about Brenay wanting a separation, wanting a divorce was really like sidetracking. You know what I'm saying? He said they never she never suggested no counseling. Counseling was never brought up. He was like really blindsided by the whole thing of Brenay even wanting a divorce and not understanding why she wanted a divorce. So he was like, they weren't even supposed to go spend Christmas with Akira them. Brenay wanted to go because, she really felt like her family didn't care about her. Her family didn't love her. Like she was like the black sheep of the family, that they favor Korean more than they favor her. She was basically a cash cow. Then also too, if y'all remember, this was the time that she had got into it with her family. About their group chat, they was talking about her. It was just, that girl just needs some help. That's all I'm gonna say. But I don't know. I just have very mixed feelings when it comes to her. So they ended up spending that Christmas with Devon said they went to spend that Christmas with Akira them. So he said somewhere along the way, he stated old feelings started arising between Brenay and Tim. And he was like, he recounted when he was asleep. So Akira would sleep in their marital bedroom. The children would sleep. Hold on, y'all. Let me slow down because I need y'all to understand this, because the way Devon painted it, it was like, oh my God. Devon was over there asleep on the other side of the living room. So just say this side of the room. Well, guess what Tim and Brenay was? Over here, laid up, as if they was a couple. And Devon was like, Tim and Brenay was having all this conversation. And, while he was asleep, to the point it woke him up. So he was like, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And he was like, he ended up hearing them say, well, if I take you back, you promise you won't leave this time, or something to that effect. And so he said, I wanted to slap the F out of both of them, but I just went on ahead and set up, and woke up and just act like, I couldn't go back to sleep. And he said that's when they tried to go back to sleep. So I don't know who asked, if it was attorney Robin who asked him where were they, sitting there. He was like, I was on the other side. And he stayed where Akira was, where the children was. He was on the other side of the living room. And Brenay and Tim was laid up on the couch together. In Akira's house. He said he felt very disrespected and played with, but he chose silence over violence. He said after that, shortly after they left and they went back home after the Christmas holiday, he was like, that's when stuff just really started like changing and it just got real bad. He was like, they was driving and then all of a sudden Brenay bust out the crying, and she was like she wanna forgive Tim for being with Corinne, for what he had done. And he was like, well, if it ain't nothing, why is you crying? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you can forgive him for what he done. You ain't got to hold no grudge, but he was so confused as to why she was, crying. And he was like, right after that, she was just like, I feel like we need to, he said first get a separation so that we can better our relationship. Then it went from, she wanted to separate because she wasn't happy. And she wanted to explore being with other people. And then it went to she wanted a divorce. So he was like, he was just so confused. She wanted to look for love because she wasn't happy. And I said, look for love with Tim. She wanted to be, he started saying that during this time, Brenay and Tim just started getting closer and closer and closer. He was like, she'll be up in the bed talking to Tim till like 5 o'clock in the morning. Just literally just talking to Tim till like 5 o'clock in the morning. And he was just like, what in the world, in disbelief. He said, he didn't know how to act and respond to it at first because Brenay was his first relationship. He just, didn't want to do. So it is safe to say, now I don't know. There's a possibility that we found out, Tim said that Brenay took his virginity. We'll get to that later. But he said Brenay took his virginity. Took it. I believe it. Took it. Just took it. He said later on, she started becoming more cold-hearted to him, looking at him like, she was disgusted with him. And then when Tim came around, she just would light up. So how I told y'all, like, she really couldn't be sad about going through a separation and a divorce with her husband when she brought it to the internet because she was too geeky, ha ha ha. I told y'all that was because of Tim. Devon confirmed that on the stand today. That when Tim came around, she was lit up. We saw that. We saw that in the videos. When she kept talking about some, this is her happy for real. Yeah, because it was Tim. They had chosen to be with each other. So, he said then Tim will start coming over more to each other's house. That he would take her, that they would go shopping together, eating together. And just doing things that they was doing more of the videos. He said that during the Christmas holiday, they was getting ready to go to the store. And y'all saw where Brenay and Tim went to the grocery store without their partners. Brenay tell Devon, I'm not putting you in the video. And he was like, he didn't understand because he was just in the video with the 5-year renewal thing, the cooking video. So he was like, he didn't understand. And that's why we saw more of Tim and Brenay, because that's what she wanted. She didn't want Akira She didn't want Devon. She wanted it to be just her and Tim. He was like, they were, then he said that they were having sex in the house of January of 2024. And so Robin said, well, how do you know that they was having sex in the house? And he said, because I heard it. So I'm thinking that Devon got some cameras or something in his house, but he was like, nah, I heard them. And he was like, and then she was like, well, how often would Tim come over to the house? And, you know, that you heard and known that them to have sex. And he was like, Tim came over to the house like 3 or 4 times that he know of that they were actually intimate. And he's like, Tim was in the home 3 or 4 times in December of 2023. And he said, one time Tim had the son with him. Now this what broke Akira, because she didn't know this, and you can tell she did not know this. He was like, one time Tim had the baby boy with him, and he was like, him and Brenay and Tim were in the guest room, and he was, you know, I guess out there in the living room, but he was like, Brenay called for the son to bring her some wipes because to clean herself up, because her and Tim had just got through having sex. She called the baby boy, called the baby boy, told him to go get her some wipes, bring it to her, and Devon said that was for her to clean up. Now, how would Devon know that? He would know that because that's his wife. When I say nasty, y'all, when I tell y'all, everybody, all you heard was, oh, I'm talking about everybody. It was like a jaw-dropping moment, because I was just like, ain't no way, y'all, that's deep. Akira was just sitting up there bawling. When I say boo-hoo and crying, you can tell that she just, that's something Devon ain't never said to her. Never said to her. She never heard that. Like, us here, and I mean, that girl just up there bawling. Woo! And so they asked, well, why you didn't tell Akira? He was like, I didn't want that burden on me of if I told her and Tim and her family fall apart, that would be on his conscience. So he was like, I didn't say nothing. So then these are some of the messages that were between Akira and Devon. So one of them was like, do you ever blame yourself? And basically she was like, I feel you on she said, I feel like I should have paid more attention and shut down things, but I never expected anything like this to happen. Either that was her or Devon. So it was like Devon was like, that ninja was like my elfin brother, and I trusted him, and I didn't think he'll do me like this right in my face. And so Devon was like, he needs to move on, but he haven't had closure with Brenay because she keep telling him lies. So both of the parties were receiving lies from their partners. Brenay was telling lies, Tim was telling lies, and Tim was telling lies. Lazy and nasty, and that, you know, she meant nothing to him. Devon was saying that he was trying to get an understanding of why she wanted a divorce and separation, and that's when he disclosed that she never had wanted counseling. And so when Brenay cross-examined Devon, thank you, love. Ooh. When Brenay cross-examined Devon, she was just like, well, if all of these things was going on and you seen it, and he was like, because it did say in the message that he had, by the time he really just started peeping out things, it had gotten out of hand. It was pretty much like it was too late, because they was already messing around with each other by the time that they realized. He said that Brenay asked him, well, how would you feel if y'all don't know about that video? There's a video where Brenay was like, when Devon broke his silence, and she was like, boy, and she was like, I don't even remember asking him that question, and if I did, it was a hypothetically speaking type thing. Y'all remember that video? So she did say it, but how are you going to hypothetically speak on being with somebody who ain't even available for you to be with? That's the thing. I don't understand that. And so at some point, Brenay was just like, she wanted to rekindle. Hold up. She wanted to rekindle. What would you do if me and Tim was to rekindle what we had? And he was like, he said he'll be happy for them, but he was like, he was just saying something because he really wasn't in his right frame of mind. Like, you know, he wasn't talking about literally speaking. He was just still trying to process everything and what was going on. So Brenay asked him, well, what is your definition of rekindling? And he said, what you done did now. Basically saying that you and Tim decided that y'all wanted to be together, and he said, ain't y'all together now? That's what rekindling means, to get back together.